And I love seeing all of you.
You too, Sunny.
We love seeing you.
I mean, Cookie.
Yes, right.
You're
What was in your wine, Julie?
some of it in wine.
And Rita, what's in yours? You have a feather there.
Coconut.
Oh, coconut.
Yeah.
So you're a little nuts tonight. That's okay.
Of course.
Coconut.
Yeah, thank you, Rika.
Nice and different from any other night.
We're going to all head on mute as we walk into Shabbat.
Roberta Baker. Join the meeting.
We are on page 126. Hi, Rabbi Gelman. I think you're muted. Do you want to add anything to that? Oh, good. All right. 126, part of our Kabbalat Shabbat is all about love. Dodi li, Dodi li, ani lo haroeh, bashoshanim, Dodi li, mizot olam, min hamidbar, mizot olam, min hamidbar. Just as a nigun, because this melody may bring back memories for so many of you from different times in your lives. I see you nodding your heads. Lai, 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 lai.
Shabbat Shalom. I don't know if those of you who are in Chicago right now and who were here last Shabbat remember that there was this brief time. So Shabbat, most of the day it was sunny and beautiful, even though it seemed like there were some storm clouds looming, but really it was a beautiful day, a little warm. And then all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, everything went dark as far as the sky. There was that clap of thunder, and then it poured and poured, and then just stopped as if it never started. Does everybody, people who were in Chicago, do you remember this? And so, well, I'll say that last Shabbat, I had the honor, the beautiful privilege of officiating a wedding in someone's backyard. And as I did, it was this beautiful day. And just as I was getting ready to say what a beautiful day it was, a clap of thunder, and it poured. And it poured throughout the wedding. And then the wedding was over. And then whew, it was beautiful again. And I have to say, what I loved about it is that there we were, all in the rain, all of us together out there, and it just couldn't have been more beautiful. There we were underneath this chuppah that was really a talit from the groom's namesake, from his great-grandfather. And it just felt like, what more do we need? But to be surrounded by love, to have a little rain, to have this talit, to have our tradition, and to know that we were coming in to this time of love. And I'll say about this Shabbat, every Shabbat, we are, as a Jewish people, imagining ourselves almost as though it's our wedding day with God. This time of being able to be surrounded by people we love, look around this beautiful room. And then we also see that it's this time of being able to welcome in wonder and love, and to be able to say that whatever happens outside, there's still Shabbat with us. And this is a very special Shabbat because it's the Shabbat that begins the month of Elul. And Elul is this time of deep introspection and reflection before we get to the High Holy Days. We have this month, and this month, its name Elul is an acronym for Ani Lidodi Vidodi Li. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. So here we are walking into this month before the new year, a time of reflection and a time of love, a time in which we can say to each other, Shabbat Shalom. So I invite you to text each other, to put in the chat, Shabbat Shalom, welcome one another to this time of love and light, this time of Shabbat, this time of Rosh Chodesh Elul. And what a beautiful way to be able to do this, with literally welcoming in the light of Shabbat, as we are able to welcome in someone who will become a bar mitzvah tomorrow, Zachary Schwartz. We are so excited. And so we invite his family, Jennifer and Michael, and Elliot and Simon. And who's that on the bed?
Georgie.
And Georgie, to be able to kindle the lights of Shabbat. We're on page 120. And I know that Zachary is going to lead us on some special reflective readings before we kindle those lights.
Go ahead.
As
Zachary.
these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generation of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Excellent.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'tadlit ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Schwartz family, you better rest up.
Amen.
I'm gonna see you on the beamer tomorrow morning.
Very excited.
Zachary, we can hardly wait. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom. What a beautiful beginning.
We look forward to tomorrow. Thank you.
We can hardly wait.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Well, and at Temple Sholem tomorrow, we will not only celebrate Zachary becoming a bar mitzvah, but we have the true honor of being able to celebrate as Emily Frayden becomes a bat mitzvah. And so we are excited to invite her family to lead us in our kiddush. So Stephanie and Jarrett and Allison, wonderful to see all of you. Oh my gosh.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Friends.
We're on page 123. We all rise in spirit for our kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu בשבת קודשו, באהבה ורצון, הנחיל לנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי היא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זהר ליציאת מצרים, כיוונו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשה, באהבה וברצון, הנהלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen. Girls,
L'chaim. Oh
you
my
may
gosh.
not
We love
always
this
get
great
along
family.
and sing that beautifully together, but that was stunning. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you tomorrow afternoon. You have a little more time to sleep than Zachary does.
Thank you. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
So exciting. Shabbat shalom. Mwah. We continue on page 138 to 139 for Lecha Dodi, as we then celebrate this wedding between the Jewish people and God with Lecha Dodi, as we beckon God's presence as a Sabbath bride. Tonight we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And we get to that 9th verse, we rise and we welcome in the Sabbath bride, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor b'zachor b'dibor echad, Yishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, Shemo tiferet v'liti la lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machashava tchila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orech umi ori, uri, uri, shir daveri, vod Adonai alayich mila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, yam v'simcha u'smona, tov emunei am tzura, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela.
And so we invite not only God's presence as a Sabbath bride to enter, but also to be showered with blessings by angels of peace with Shalom Aleichem, page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitzem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Richard Levy of blessed memory reflects on what it means that we do when we welcome in our worship with Baruch Hu. He writes, what does it mean to be called to worship? All serious activity requires preparation. The prayers and blessings that precede Baruch Hu are warm-ups for the individual. Now communal prayer begins. The leader asks, are you ready to pray? And we respond, yes. Let us pray. Baruch Hu, page 146. We rise in spirit. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Hear, O Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Hear, O Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Hear, O Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Please be seated. We continue on 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך, בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We are on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. On Micha Mocha on 158.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. Nora tehilot o seifele, Nora tehilot o seifele. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeli anu ve'amru Adonai imloch Adonai imloch leolam va'ed.
I'm going to invite everybody to take a deep breath. We're praying to God to help us find peace. And we're thinking about what is it that brings us peace. For some of us, it might be perspective. For some of us, it might be patience. For some of us, it might be a hug, a text, a phone call from a friend. So it's our job to help bring each other peace and bring peace to the world.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We rise in body and in spirit as we turn to page 164 for the Amidah, for our central prayer of the service, where we ask God to open up our minds and our hearts.
Ananana Adonai, Ananana sifatai tiftach, Ananana ufi yagid tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana sifatai tiftach, Ananana ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevii gula livnei bneihem leman shemo b'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai magen Abraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rab l'hoshia, morid hatal, Mechakel chayim b'chesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha al gevurot, umidol melach, melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua v'nemanata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alu l'chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Take a moment now to silently pray and reflect on whatever is going on in our heart.
Oseh shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen.
Take a moment now to pray and send our best thoughts and hope to the people in our life who are in need of healing. It could be physical healing, spiritual healing, or emotional healing. It could be family members, or friends, or even for ourselves. So we're going to invite you to unmute yourself, say their name out loud, or to add it in the chat.
William Werheim and Liviana Bree Pelzer.
The Jarris family.
Kathy Dorothy.
Ellen
Ron Rubin and Eric Friedberg.
Bruce Glasgow.
Yes, say it.
Family and the Bean family.
Emmanuel Gonzalez, Carlos Tavares, Luba Costa-Estevsky,
Ann Mitchell, Frank Gilbert.
Alec Toledan.
Anita's sister.
Barbara Greenwood.
We add to those names David Mayer, Rabbi Mark S. Shapiro, Jan Knox, Susan Levine, Alana Worth, Debbie Frank, Elaine Batik, Rochelle Batik, Jonathan Spitz, Ann Nicholas, Helen Ryback, Nadine Fort, Eric Boyd, Belle Martirano, Avner Drucker, June Rientz, Millie Dan, Matt Raftree and family, Carol Curley, Ellie Curry, Ellie Kopmar, Hannah Hirschfeld, and the Jarris family.
As well as Jose, Flo Bernberg, Paula Serralo, Ann Nathan, and Stan Gross.
Page 371. Mishaberach Avotenu Makor Habracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu makor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. There is a Jewish tradition that on your birthday, it's not that other people bless you because it's your birthday. It's that it's actually your job on your birthday to go around and give other people in your life as many blessings as possible. So we are going to ask anybody who has had a birthday in the last month to bless us by sharing their birth date with us so we can recognize them and celebrate them. So if it is your birthday month, Will you please unmute yourself and share your birth date in the Zoom?
August 18th.
August 4th.
August 26th.
August 31st.
August 26th.
August 19th.
August 16th.
August 26th.
August 20th.
August 12th.
Anyone else?
August 25th.
Happy birthday month to all of you. We're so happy you're joining us on your birthday month, and also agree that it is a very hot month. So Cantor Ben David, if you could lead us in Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. All right, so let's all sing together a little. Yom Huladet Sameach, Yom Huladet Sameach, Yom Huladet Sameach, Yom Huladet Sameach. Go August!
Go August indeed. I want to begin today with a story about Rabbi Shneur Zalman. He was an 18th century rabbi of Belarus, and in his time he was denounced by the government on account of his belief and his conduct, mostly that of being Jewish. So he was jailed in St. Petersburg, and awaiting his interrogation, the chief interrogator came into his cell. Deep in contemplation was Rabbi Zalman. He wasn't even aware that this interrogator had walked into his cell. The chief was a thoughtful man. He noted the rabbi's powerful but serene facial expression and intuited the sort of person this prisoner was. He began to converse with the rabbi and soon raised several questions that had occurred to him when he studied scripture, when he studied the Bible. So the interrogator asked, "Rabbi, how am I to understand that God, the omniscient God, in Genesis asks Adam, 'Where are you?'" Rabbi Zalman smirked and replied, "Do you believe that scripture is eternal, encompasses every age, every generation, and every person?" "Yes, I believe that," said the interrogator. "Well now," said the rabbi, "in every age, God addresses every person with the question, 'Where are you in your world?' Already so many of your allotted years and days have passed. How far have you come in your world?" And perhaps God will say, You have lived 46 years. Where are you now?" When the chief interrogator heard this exact number of his years, he pulled himself together, put his hand on the rabbi's shoulder, and exclaimed, "Bravo." In the Garden of Eden, God calls out to Adam, just like that interrogator said. God calls out, "Ayeka, where are you?" The chief interrogator in that story so thoughtfully is asking, how? How did God not know where Adam was? But this isn't truly the question that God asks. So of course God knows where Adam is, but does Adam? Where are you today? Not physically, but spiritually and emotionally. Where are you? We ask ourselves Ayeka. Where are you? Where am I? Where do I want to be? What do I want to be? Ayeka. As we continue this sermon, we're going to try something a little differently because I'm going to see we're going to actively participate in this sermon. So I will invite you to open another window on your computer or on your phone and answer this question that's on your screen. You go to that web address at the top, or you could text those letters and numbers to that number and answer that question. As this is the month of Elul, one of the most sacred months of the Jewish calendar, this month poses the question that we will contemplate. Where am I? We bring this question as we go forward into Rosh Hashanah, into Yom Kippur. Ayeka, where are you? Rabbi Nancy Weschler writes that Elul is the month when we start to clean up our spiritual schmutz. Elul reminds us that no human is perfect, just like is showing up on our screen here. We all miss the mark. We disappoint ourselves throughout the year. We're tired. We are depleted. Our plates were too full to give proper attention to those who needed us. Because of our humanness, Elul is here so that we can meet one another and do the Elul ritual of apologizing for missing the mark and offering one another our best gift that we will try to do better in the future. This remarkable tradition is called Cheshbon Nefesh, literally an accounting of one's soul. If you go to an ice cream shop in Tel Aviv, you will pay for your meal and then you will get a cheshbon. And this cheshbon, this receipt is different. We are talking about a cheshbon nefesh, a literally receipt of our soul. So if you looked at a receipt of your last year, what would you be proud of? What would you be looking at this receipt and being like, oh, that is a good Rabbi Gelman. That's a good Jonathan. That's a good Sarah. I'm proud of that. And what would you be a little more shy about sharing if you had a whole receipt of your whole year? This month of Elul, there are so many ways to reflect, to study, to prepare for the high holidays. It might be journaling, might be reading books about the high holidays like This Is Real and You Were Completely Unprepared by Alan Liu, a great book for this time. Maybe it's taking extra time this month to connect with friends and family in meaningful ways. And as we look, we see so much about our community. Some want to follow through with projects, being there for others, being less anxious, having more patience, connecting more with friends, saving more money, opening my heart to others, having more faith that everything will be okay. As these answers continue to come in, I want to conclude with another story. Once there was a woman who became lost in a dense forest. Each tree and every stone just continued to guide her in circles. Whenever she thought she was moving forward, she would come back to a place she knew she had already been before. She wandered this way and that in hopes of stumbling on a way out, but she only got more lost as the hours went by. Then she chanced upon another person walking in the woods. Hoping that this gentleman might know the way out, she said, Sir, can you tell me which path leads out of this forest?" He responded, "I'm sorry, I can't help. In fact, I'm lost myself." The woman responded, You have wandered in one part of the woods, and I have been lost in a whole nother part of the woods. Together, we might not know the way out, but between the two of us, we know quite a few paths that lead to nowhere. Let's share the paths that we know that haven't worked. Together, we're going to find one that succeeds. What is true for these wanderers is true for all of us. We may not know the way out, but let us share with each other the way from which we have come. And these moments of wishing that we were better, these are our moments from where we have come, so that we can see this, have strength from each other, to learn from each other, and thus strengthen ourselves and our whole community. May it be God's will. Toda Rabah, Rabbi Conover, and Toda Rabah to all. There is a lot going on at Temple Sholem, especially in this month of Elul, this month of contemplation, this month of getting ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. First, there are a number of Elul Havdalah get-togethers. Real, actual, see another person and actually like see that they have a front of their head and a back of their head. I know, it's crazy. I haven't seen that in so long. These are happening with a number of our affinity groups, and that information is found at sholemchicago.org/Elul. I'm pretty sure that's the web address. I'll check right now. We have a lot of other exciting things like high holidays coming up. So make sure that we're getting ready for that. And a special Sholem Justice presentation, actually a presentation with our one of our community partners, JCUA, the Jewish Council on Urban Affairs, which will be having an educational session on the Fair Tax Amendment for Illinois coming up on this ballot year. So yes, it is sholemchicago.org/Elul, and I invite you to find a huge number of programming that is coming up then, and look forward to hearing the shofar blast the week before Rosh Hashanah. And finally, this Monday, so just like 2-3 days from now, the Women of Temple Sholem is having an event. The numbers of registration is already huge. You're not going to want to miss this. It's called Two Kitchens, Two Traditions, and it is happening at 6:30 on Monday night. You can register all the way up to Monday by emailing stacy@sholemchicago.org or looking in the e-blast that you receive at 6 p.m. on Thursday. There's a lot, but this is the best month. May it be a reflective one. And so with that, it's really on us to make this month one that is reflective, one that is meaningful for us. And so I invite us to put it aleinu, on ourselves, to make this an important month as we turn to page 586 at the bottom and rise in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני Ushamo, Ushamo, Ushamo Echad.
We conclude our services always with Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, giving us a moment of reflection. Like this month of Elul, that we reflect on our one past year as we lead into 5781. Each time we come to Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, we reflect on the many years that our friends and family who have passed away from this earth have bestowed upon us, through the many blessings that they have bestowed upon us. And one of those special ones is a yahrzeit today of Rabbi Peter Noble. And so I invite Rabbi Conover to share a few words.
I don't know if people opened up the weekly e-blast in which Helene Cohn always shares a haiku. This week she wrote, "How judge humankind? Hold my teachings at your side, double down justice." She's referring to this very famous statement in our Torah portion in Shoftim that says, "Tzedek, tzedek tirdof." Justice, justice shall you pursue. So it would have sufficed just to say tzedek tirdof. It would have sufficed to say, justice shall you pursue. So why tzedek, tzedek? Well, some of the commentators say, because if you want to get to justice, well, then you have to use just means. And I think that many of us who have been touched in our community by the greatness, by the goodness, and by the righteousness of Peter Noble understand what it is to be able to lead a life filled with integrity, making sure that everything that he did to get toward righteousness was righteous. He made time for all of us. He taught everyone. Everything was always a teachable moment for him. And I also have to say that tzedek is at the root of one of the greatest things that we could say about a person, which is that he was a true tzaddik. He was one of the great righteous ones. And so on this Shabbat, as we observe his first yahrzeit, all of us who, because he was such a tzaddik, have become better in ourselves, and knowing that he has made Temple Sholem a better place because he led it for a short while, well, then we understand what it is to be able to remember someone, not only in blessing, but through being able to perpetuate blessings in their wake. That is what a great tzaddik will do for us. And that is why we are so very grateful that Rabbi Peter Noble of blessed memory was in the life of Temple Sholem and in the lives of so many of us.
We add to our Temple Sholem list of memory those who have passed away in this last month, known as Shloshim: Beverly B. Delinsky, Howard Cohen, Marsha Landman, Julieta Sanchez, Elaine Kupfer, Robin Perlman Klima, Betsy Benet Paradise, Blanche Kargerman, Connie Jo Punzi, Eleanor Singer, Sylvia Nyberg, Catherine Kiki Klein, and those whose yahrzeits are observed in this week now ending: Aaron Alexander, Myron Berkson, Saul Blatt, Ron Butler, Bernice Cohen, Louis Colburn, Janet Sipra, Cecil Early, Dr. Edward D. Froelich, Kathleen Gelb, Joan Trackman Green, Cy Greenberg, Peter Greisbach, David Gross, Lee Hoffman, Esther King, Rabbi Peter Noble, Walter E. Krebs, Leo Landman, Henny Lewin, Fred Leader, Max Margolis, Morton Mitchell, Marie Ogden, Etta Penn, Jeanette Rickersberg, Arlene Rosenson, Sanford Sandy Rovner, Harold Saper, Lee Ann Silverberg, Joseph Steinberg, Francis M. Stern, and Michael Tepper. And if there are any those who are here in our Zoom room and would like to say the name of a loved one who we are remembering this week, I invite you to share it aloud or put it in the chat, also for those on Facebook.
Howard Villa and Sandra Goingshore.
Donald Vogel.
Arnold Siegel.
John M.
Richard
Griffith.
Richard Fishbein and Joni Bronstein.
Judd Weinberg.
And we add to that Renee Krause, Karen Wickland, Michael Silverstein, Jordan Naranjo, Dorothy Klassman, Julius Cohn, as well as Florence Teuscher, George S. Irving, Kern Cleven, Robert Osborne, Marsha Lewis, and I'd like to correct myself. The name before was Janice Cypra. For all those who we are blessed by their blessing, we recite Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598, and we rise.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabach, v'yamad divrach chedrtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'vyomachon u'v'chayei v'chol Beit Yisrael ba'arala u'vizman kariv v'yimru. Yehi shmei rabah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kursha Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata v'amiran v'yama v'imru. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, Uyaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
As we continue into our month of Elul, as this being the first of Elul, may we bless ourselves with contemplation, with working hard to get to these moments, being less anxious, patience and happiness, being there for others, reading more, communicating. May these be our blessings during this month of Elul and on this Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. I know we're